But what else is there to do now at UConn? You know what I mean?
Continue to dominate and keep job security and get money and stay near your family and continue to just be you.
No, that's true. But if you
Is
go
that
back
all?
to Kentucky and you win there, you're a legend forever. And then you've won two
But what
different
if you don't?
places, though.
What if you
too.
don't?
And look at how he got his start. Like, nobody even wanted to hire Dan Hurley for the longest time. Had to go and coach at the high school ranks. He was an assistant at Rutgers for like 4 years.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, he probably doesn't. And UConn's the perfect situation, the perfect job. They're, possibly going to win their second straight title. I'm just saying, though, if he goes and wins at Kentucky, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Maybe the greatest coach of all time, as crazy as that sounds.
So I think you got to bet Klingon.
Yeah.
I think actually the only way you can bet UConn right now, unless you're taking the points, is Klingon most outstanding.
See, and that would be my only bet. Just because, Zach Edey's been the player of the year the last 2 years, and if they lose in the national championship
They're
game...
not giving it to him.
No, they're going to give it to the dude that went up against them, the
Yep.
other big, you know what I mean, that neutralized them, because nobody else has been able to do it. I mean, that's why Purdue's still playing. He gets every single offensive rebound, every rebound. You can't officiate him. The craziest part is that he plays every single minute of these games, though, for a big man. I don't remember there being a
The
tournament.
conditioning level is crazy.
I mean, he's not obviously like the fastest dude. He kind of just like wobbles down the floor. But it's kind of crazy to see, man. It's really actually amazing to see. Because I don't remember a big, like anybody over 6'11", ever being able to play 38, 39 minutes every single tournament game.
This is the parlay that I think. Are we all rolling? Are we all going to the parking lot? We're all doing it.
Yeah.
Something small. Cam Spencer. PJ has a most outstanding player, so we're rolling with him. We like the matchup. Cam Spencer, 20 points. This is his last roll, this last night. 20 for him. Braden Smith, a.k.a. Traylor Kolick, had a horrible game. He went scoreless. 15 points for a bounce back. Don't let us down. And then UConn. We've been riding them all year. Why not continue to ride them? -7.5. And then let's see a defensive battle. Under 143.5. Real small. Just a little sprinkle. Little pepperoni money. Half of a pepperoni money. 100 to 1. Are you rolling?
I'm rolling.
I'm rolling.
Then we take our
100 to
earnings and we bet
1?
Tiger
Four
Woods
leg?
to win the Masters. No, I'm
Four
kidding.
leg 100 to 1.
Yeah, I like it.
Ridiculous.
And that's like kind of doable.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's
Right.
not.
it's not like a crazy parlay.
No, I mean, look, Cam Spencer doesn't score 20 points a lot, but in the Natty, you remember Spike Albright from Michigan when he
Yes.
just went absurd?
Dante DiVincenzo?
Yeah, right. These things happen.
If you were
so.
betting Dante DiVincenzo props,
Oh.
so he's averaging, 14 points per game
Yeah.
so far. He had 14. He had 18 against San Diego State. Yeah, I like it. If we wanted to...
I'm gonna die trying to scalp this UConn team. I'm gonna do it one time. I'm gonna do it one time. All right, or I'm gonna die trying. Right? I've had a good tournament. I've been riding Purdue in pretty much every game. This is sort of the first time in a while I've had a good tournament, and I've got the room to be wrong tonight. It's not a big bet. It's nothing crazy, but I kind of want to do it. I want to feel it again. I want to feel what it feels like to fade UConn. It's been a long time since I've done it, and I want to feel it again. And I just think, listen, what it boils down to for me is that you're trying to tell me that Purdue and San Diego State last year are equal teams. Either you're adjusting UConn way up, or you're telling me that Purdue and San Diego State from a year ago are equivalent. So, and I don't think UConn is necessarily that much better than a year ago. I mean, they were bringing Klingon off the bench a year ago, lest anybody forget. That team had 3 pros on it. So I don't necessarily think they're that much better. I think they've just been awesome the whole way. And I certainly don't think Purdue and last year's San Diego State team are equivalent. So I just think 7 is too many in this instance.
I was speaking with sideline reporter of the radio station WGR, Sal Capaccio, and he thinks that there's a possibility that the Bills are maybe making a move to move up. And that would be enticing. Do you think that that's a realistic possibility? And with all of and I know this is probably a long shot to get him anyway, with all of the chatter around Malik Neighbors, which I think is pretty garbage, and how things worked out with Stephon Diggs and his, high maintenance tag, do you think that if they could get him would create any reluctance?
I think if they get Malik Neighbors, they'd be doing cartwheels in the street of Orchard Park. I mean, that'd be unbelievable for them, because when you talk about the Bills moving up, I think that's absolutely a possibility. But where do they move up to? Are we talking about a move up to 7 or 8 to get one of those really, really high-end guys? Well, go back to the Julio Jones trade. it costs a lot. Where a guy would need to be Julio Jones to justify that, and maybe even then, it's really still expensive. So, do the Bills move up to 15? Get one of those kind of mid guys, Mitchell from Texas or something like that. There's no guarantee a guy like that's going to come in and be a number one right away. And the Buffalo Bills in this Super Bowl window need a guy to be a number one. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how they maneuver this. I could absolutely see them moving up for a guy. I could also see them sitting where they're at and just saying the depth of this draft class at receiver is so good that you could shake the tree and a couple of really good receivers are going to come out no matter where you're drafting. Let's just get a guy we like at that spot. Again, get 2, get 3, and maybe you're going to hit on some of them, because I don't see there being, after the big 3 at receiver, I don't see there being a huge difference between 4 and like 12. There's so many first round level receivers in this draft. It's kind of staggering. And in that way, the Bills are in really, really good shape to replace Stephon Diggs in this draft. But it's just no guarantee to have that impact right away in 2024.
Really good point, especially like you look at what Green Bay did, and who knew like who Wicks and Dobbs and Christian Watson, although he's probably a bad example.
Every one of those guys. It is amazing. Look how well set up. I mean, really, if you think about it, look how well set up Green Bay is right now. Where you look at their offense, obviously the quarterback had to hit, but now you say, we don't need to use any resources at receiver for a good 3-4 years. We're set there. We can draft cornerbacks and offensive tackles and all the things that they do need. So there's something to be said about strength in numbers. And hey, if you end up with hitting 2-3 good receivers out of a draft class, that is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and then you have the Bears in the NFC North, and they got a ton of cap space, a pretty good defense. It looks like Caleb Williams going to be the number 1 overall pick. What do you think the Commanders should do at number 2? You know, like we floated around J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, Jaden Daniels, I believe, is minus 140 to be the 2nd overall pick. Could still be Drake May. What do you think they should do, and what do you think they will do with that 2nd overall pick here in about 2 weeks?
I mean, the J.J. McCarthy stuff is something that I think happens in NFL circles, and we're not privy to it. And then we think, oh man, J.J. moving up the draft that high to a lot of NFL teams. I'm personally not that high in him. I take Jaden Daniels to sleep really well at night. I think he's really, really good. I was on a radio show in New Orleans and basically was like, make the case for Caleb Williams being better than Jaden Daniels. I not much separation between them. I think Daniel's good. And I think he comes in, he's going to play well right away. He's going to impact the Commanders. He could have, I hate comparing anybody to CJ Stroud because that was a special rookie year. But in the best case scenario, could he come in and impact? Yeah, he could. I think he's that kind of player. He brings everything to the table you want in a modern NFL quarterback with the athleticism, the accuracy, the smarts. I really like him as a player. I waste no time drafting Jaden Daniels, but I think this McCarthy stuff is real. The buzz is real on him. And we'll see if he got all the way up to number 2 on the Commanders' board, because that would make a very, very interesting draft day decision for them.
The draft sort of has an inflection point at 3. I think a lot of people thought originally, maybe a month ago, that it changed or the inflection point was at 4 with the Cardinals. But it feels like New England isn't sure what they want to do, and they are receptive to maybe trading back, and it doesn't feel like they're 100% all in on Drake May, which seems like that's who's going to be there at 3 most likely. Do you think that that's a good fit for the Patriots and Drake May? Because I'm a little bit reluctant to believe that they're going to be able to develop Drake, who's a little rough around the edges. And if they don't take him, who do you think jumps up and tries to take a quarterback at 3?
No, that's a great point. I mean, you want to put a guy like Drake May, you want to put in the best position possible right away. And the Patriots are so talent poor right now that it's not a good situation for him. It's not a great situation for him to develop right away. But I still think at the end of the day, if you don't want to draft 3rd every year. So if you're the Patriots and you like Drake May, you don't worry about your situation. It's not ideal, but you don't pass a quarterback you like. Now, do they like him? Do they like a McCarthy or a Daniels, whoever slips that past 2? I think at 3, you really have to be sold on a guy. You're not dating at that point. You're marrying. That is a long-term commitment, and if that quarterback doesn't work out, a lot of people are getting fired. So you really have to be sold, but you also don't want to be wrong. What if they trade out of that spot to the Minnesota Vikings, or the obvious choice to move up? Denver's in there too. Raiders are kind of lurking. Those 3 teams kind of need to move up to draft a quarterback. What if the Patriots move back, don't really get their quarterback, and watch J.J. McCarthy become a superstar, or Drake May become a superstar? You'd kick yourself forever. So I think that fear of missing out is going to drive the Patriots pick here. I don't think they pass on a quarterback. I think they have to draft a quarterback.